going on, guys? Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Breaking Bitcoin Market Update. Of course, I'm your host, Justin Wise, lead analyst, senior mentor at CrackingCryptocurrency.com. Hope you're doing fantastic wherever you happen to be tuning in from, and let's hop right into this, guys. We've got a lot of exciting stuff to talk about today. Obviously, kind of the interesting news in the market this morning is going to be Congress attempting to, and again, I don't want to overly stretch this. This is just one, kind of whack-a-noodle lefty calling for a ban on cryptocurrency, but being very blatant in how he is talking about it. And it just kind of surprises me that people don't think in these fashions. Every individual, every business, every person, every family, every nation is concerned about their bottom line. And this lesson has become so clear, so honest, and true to me as a trader, because all that matters at the end of the day is your bottom line. And that's what I work on the majority of the time that I spend. I would say the majority of my mentoring is focused on risk management. Okay. Now, obviously, we work on entries and exits and setups and all that good stuff, because that is important as well, is to have a good refined edge in the market, a good strategy of entry and exit. However, the most important thing as a trader, it has always been this way, it always has been, is going to be your risk. Where is your stop loss at? How are you managing risk? How are you position sizing? That is the largest lesson that is so difficult for newer traders to learn, and that is what I put the majority, I would say the good majority of my time spent mentoring is all about risk management. So we had some questions just recently from a few new members to the group. So I added a whole bunch of stuff to the new database for the new members. So we've got some new position size calculators in there. I took the time and figured out I didn't figure it out. It's not like I invented it, but one common popular algorithm is going to be the Kelly bet. That's a very popular way of position sizing, so I went ahead and put that calculator in there. Actually, two different versions of that, as well as a new average cost calculator. The next project that we're going to be working on, that I'm going to have out here, when we're going to be ready, it's actually going to come out sooner than the course section. That's going to be focused on back testing and position sizing. Of course, we already have educational material in the group for position sizing and risk management. But I'm going to be putting out a better trading journal, right? A better trading journal where you'll be able to input all your data and really be able to see where your dollars and cents are. And that's really the most important thing. I talked to a lot of traders that went and analyzed all their records, obviously, as they were filing their taxes for cryptocurrency just recently. And they were shocked. They're like, man, there's a lot that... There's a lot that I thought that I was doing well that I wasn't doing well. I really need to work on this. And so a good analysis of your bottom line, of your account history, is going to be the most important thing. And that's what I ask for. When people ask me all the time, like, hey, is this a good chart? Do you think this is a good setup? That doesn't matter, because the statistical likelihood of any one individual single trade hitting your take profit before your stop loss is 50-50 on any individual trade. That's why when you ask people like, hey, what do you think of this chart? What do you think of this setup? You shouldn't ask that. What you should say is, hey, here is my strategy. Here is my system. Do you feel that giving you these rules and giving you this idea, is this trade keeping with my system, with my strategy? Am I misinterpreting something? Right? And ideally, the system that we teach individuals to design is an if this then that strategy. So it should be quite simple to determine whether or not you should be entering this trade. And that's the most difficult thing for individuals, is that they think they're going to be able to, especially if you're newer. Now, again, there are some individuals that are better at this than others, right? You're always going to have overperformers and underperformers. But in general, and I speak generally, because I think that the majority of individuals in this space are going to benefit from that the most. In general, what you need to do is you need to define a well-defined rule-based system of when you enter and exit, and you only trade under those conditions, right? It doesn't matter what the market's doing, because that does not matter to you as a trader as your bottom line. It doesn't matter. You can't capture every movement. People think that you will get a natural intuitive sense of how the market will move, and that is a false premise, because that is predicated on the fact that the more time you spend in the market, the better you are at predicting the way the market's going to go. And while that is true to a certain extent, at the end result, for me, the biggest help for me progressing from an amateur trader to a professional trader was fully accepting that I will never know which way the market's going to go. And all I can do is treat this as a game of chance. And therefore, what I have to do is increase my statistical edge over time. I have to improve my odds of success over the long run, over the long game. And the only way to do that is to define a rule-based system of how you enter and exit trades, and you trade it like a robot. Now, I don't actually advocate that individuals bot their systems up. I think that that's kind of fraught with peril and strife. Of course, some people do do have success with that. But in general, again, most of the individuals, and I talked to thousands of people who have traded over my lifetime. Most of the individuals, especially in cryptocurrency, who go down that botting path don't get the results that they want. Most individuals who go down the route of subjectively interpreting price don't get the results that they want. So rules-based systems for the majority of traders, and again, the failure rate is quite high. And I think the failure rate is quite high because most individuals have losing strategies, have losing systems. So what we really need to focus on is our discipline, our patience, and our methodology, right? All right, so with that little rant out of the way, we're going to break down some news. We're obviously going to look at the current price. Bitcoin in pretty much full honey badger mode, coming up on some critical levels here as well. So we're going to look at those as well. We're going to talk about some new tools. But first, let's get into this. All right. Boom, chugga, boom, boom, as Ivan on Tech would say. All right, anyways, guys, so here we are. Here we are at Crypto Trading Toys. This has been, this came across my desk a while ago, and I really like this. Now, I have another setup. I will show you guys that if I can. If I can. Sorry about that. Okay, cool. Sorry that you guys lost everything there for a second. I promise it will be right back. Almost got it. It's right here. There we go. And transition. Okay, there you go. This is the setup that I pretty much have. I have two of these on multiple monitors, just so you guys kind of understand and get a sense for what I look at and how I trade. You know, I'm always looking at, even though I'm a longer time frame trader, I'm always quite interested to see what the market is doing. I was looking at a couple of these, crap coins this morning because they are doing some interesting breakout from consolidation. But again, the timing is really the critical thing there. And then, of course, you can see what I'm watching for the lower time frames down there on the bottom. All right, so with that being said, but this is an interesting tool, guys. If you guys do want to check this out, this is cryptotrading.toys. Obviously, we've got all these links. I wouldn't say they're not in the description, but we compile a big resources channel. We compile a big resource channel for or resources document for all the people in the group. So there's lots of tools out there. Again, if individuals don't want to have a pro trading view account or a paid trading view account, so they can look at multiple screens, which I do think is helpful. What you do want to do is, there is the multi-coin signals chart where you can look at, I believe, 4. You have to see an advertisement at the top, but it's not really, especially if you got some ad blocker. So anyways, all right, before we get into this, let's get into this. Let's go ahead and look at this. We'll go over to the daily chart, and let me make sure I didn't lose it. Good over here. Okay, great. All right, so here we are at, let's start off on Bitstamp, actually. Let's go over to Bitstamp. And we'll talk about the levels that we were keeping our eye on and how price has interacted, or basically said, I care not. All right, so the first area of contention that we were looking at was our bearish breaker, right? Generally, bearish breakers are good on the interim. Now, we can actually see that if we go down to the lower time frames, there were scalps obviously to be made here, but for the higher time frame, obviously swing trade, obviously we did not get the rejection from the daily bearish breaker that we were expecting. We are still in the trouble area, right? I do want to make that quite clear. Bitcoin's price looks quite impressive. If we look at the last 3 days, we can see what most people would typically call 3 white soldiers. Or 3 green soldiers, however they would like to do it. Eli back, man. What's going on, my good friend? Hey, man. Of course, we'll look at Xhaven, dude. I feel like I'm going to be disappointed. All right. So we're still in the trouble zone, right? If you guys will recall, my original conception was got out around 9,500, needing a juicy trade. Would I buy back in? Probably not. We're going to talk about, that's the big thing moving forward. And actually, we're going to talk about Binance. We're going to talk about Bitfinex here in just a second. And I just want to point this out. If Binance enables margin trading, so there's a difference, right? Binance can enable margin trading and still only allow you to go long, okay? Yeah. But if Binance allows you to go short, game changer, right? If Binance allows you to go long and short, you're going to see such a wave of traders come in from the Forex space, and I think from the equity space, who now are going to be able to go long and short conveniently on an exchange. If Binance does launch that, the game is changing. The game is absolutely changing. And actually, let me tell you this. I'll point this out. Being able to go long and short on spot could potentially stop the altcoin bear market, right? Because now there is a financial incentive to bet against people selling, right? So previously there wasn't, right? Price was either just going up or price was either just going down, right? But if Binance enables long and short margin trading, there is now a financial incentive to bet against the bottom, to bet against sellers, and the game completely changes. The game completely changes, just as it's completely different over on ByBit or Deribit or, godforsaken, BitMEX if you're still trading on BitMEX. All right, so what is the trouble area, right? A trouble area is a level on the chart where resistance or support is likely, depending on what directional bias that you may or may not have. So that area is quite wide. We are on a higher time frame, but we do have to be honest and realistic about the trouble area that we're in. Now, am I calling the top of the market? You guys know that I don't do that. You don't want to be the guy calling the top of a bullish trend, and you don't want to be the guy calling the bottom of a bearish trend, right? The failure rate is too high, okay? Now, I don't really care about anybody out there making predictions about where the market will fail or where the market will bottom. That stuff's nonsense. That stuff's palm reading. That stuff has nothing for actionable trading. That stuff is not great. And the one time that they're right, they'll never let you forget about it. And the 90 times that they're wrong, they will never tell you about, okay? So keep that in mind, guys. It's not about calling tops and bottoms. It's about catching good, predictable, consistent movements. And I think you will find, again, I've talked about raw reversal trading and I've talked about reversal trading. Reversal trading inside of a trend, right? So continuation crosses, right? I'm a reversal trader insofar as continuation within a trend. Raw reversals I will trade from time to time if I have multiple levels of confluence, right? But I'm well aware that the failure rate is high and that the probability for success is much lower than safer trade setups, okay? And then again, some trades I recommend to take are not all the trades that I take. So again, a trouble area on a chart is going to be an area where support or resistance is likely to occur based on previous price action, right? And as we can see, we're just coming up through the floor. We're just coming up through the ceiling of current price action, through the floor of previous price action, obviously where we were bottoming and finding strong support back in 2018. As you guys know, very common rule of trading, resistance becomes support, support becomes resistance. Keep in mind that also in keeping with raw reversal trading, so we do want to be cautious a little bit of that as well. But the levels still remain. So the daily bearish breaker, we tore right through it. Price did not care. Price gave no fucks, whatever. Now we are coming upon the top of the weekly bearish breaker. So to identify that, we will go to the weekly time frame. And as we can see, what is the last down weekly candle? The last down weekly candle is going to be this candle right here. So we measure the true body. As we can see, it conveniently formed the top of the daily bearish breaker. Now, why is this a bearish breaker? Now, you can make the argument that this is not a breaker. The reason why is because typically you want to see a breaker form a shift in market structure, right? So market structure is a series of higher lows and higher highs and higher lows in the case of a bullish trend. And a bearish market structure is lower highs and lower lows, okay? So typically when you're looking for a bearish breaker, you're looking for an order block. What you want to see is you want to see an area of price where you bottomed, where you were in a bearish trend, and then all of a sudden you have a shift in market structure, right, where you begin forming higher lows and higher highs. Now, obviously, on the weekly time frame, we can see that there's really only, in recent action, there's really only one of those, or actually there's really two of those, right? So we have the absolute top, which would make this candle right here, and we'll go ahead and actually plot that out just for the sake of example here. So we have a weekly block right here. Now, keep in mind, I don't usually trade weekly blocks. I normally trade daily blocks because I find that they're more actionable for trading, right? They are tradable. Of course, they are tradable, but it's just not my personal preference, right? So it's just not in my wheelhouse to generally trade weekly blocks. However, I will pay attention to the levels that they do generate because they are important. Batam and Pandero Vero, hey, what's going on, my good friend? But you can go long and short on Kraken. What is the difference if Binance does it? Because more people, dramatically more people trade on Binance. Dramatically more people trade on Binance. And because they have a succession of more altcoins. More liquidity, more selection, more options, more popular. It's a game changer. All right, so we have a bearish order block. Why is it a bearish order block? Because it was the initiation of dramatic selling. And it led to a shift in market structure, right? Whereas previously we were having higher highs, higher lows. Once this occurred right here, once this top occurred on the weekly time frame, we began experiencing lower highs and lower lows, right? And that pattern continued throughout all of 2018 until we broke the floor and bottomed out. All right, so what do we have similarly down here? We have a bullish order block in this block right here, this block right here. Now, I will go and refine these for the purposes of the daily, but I just want to point these out, right? So once you form a bullish order block and you revisit or you begin forming again, so right down here on the weekly time frame, we can see that we begin forming higher lows or higher highs and higher lows, higher highs, higher lows. So that's a shift in market structure, right? Where the market dramatically shifts. So keep in mind, this is a level of price action analysis. So not going to be congruent if you're just focusing on your indicator-based technical strategy. Not to say that you can't build an if this then that strategy out of price action, especially if you're trading rule-defined structures. So that's why I labeled this out, right? I do not trade subjective price action analysis. I do not allow myself to trade generally anything that is based off subjectivity and that can't be verified because the failure rate's too high. And I'm concerned with preservation of capital and high likelihood setups. So we can see pretty much only two critical areas on the chart. So is this going to help us out in the form of active trading on the daily time frame, or excuse me, on the weekly time frame? Not so much. This is basically telling us that we really don't have a position on the table until we get up here or we get down here, because these are the only areas on the chart that initiate a shift in market structure. So we can go down to the daily, and this is why I do prefer to trade the daily time frame, because the daily time frame is going to provide us with more opportunities to see shifts in market structure, right? So it's just going to allow you to take more trades and be more active, right? Now, that's not necessarily a good thing, but I'd say that, as you can just point out, there shouldn't be just two trades on the table for the weekly time frame. On the daily time frame, you're going to get significantly more trades. So as you can see here, this local high right here led to a shift in market structure. You're having higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows. Then you have this top out candle right here, lower highs, lower highs, lower lows, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So these areas become tradable, okay? So we can actually really refine this and define, and this is something that I did when I first learned this method. And this is how I used to trade Forex. This is actually the last way that I traded Forex. I was quite successful in it, was just trading these breakers and order blocks. There are, at one point, I traded it with a little bit more nuance as well. I was also looking at range low, range high, and equilibrium. I don't do that anymore because I've just tested it enough to see that you don't get as many good setups. You don't get any more additional setups. It doesn't really refine your position whatsoever or refine your chances of success than just keeping it a little bit more simple and targeting the order blocks and looking to ladder in, having a stop loss that is congruent with the average true range. Whether you want to use regular average true range, obviously you guys know my stop and target system is going to be pursuant to Quadrigo ATR, which is the indicator that I created. It's all based upon average true range. So I only look to really take profits or set my stop loss based on market volatility. I don't generally use arbitrary lines. And by arbitrary lines, I mean anything on the chart, because that's historical data and that is not really reflective or indicative of what price is doing. So anyways, where are we at right now at this point in time? We are in the weekly trouble area, which again, as I said, does stretch from 61.35 to 64.51. Price is just right there, right? Price just came up and butted against it just slightly. I don't think we made it all the way. In fact, I know that we did not make it all the way quite there. No, we just barely failed it right now, putting in some significant buying volume on this candle right here, forming somewhat of an evening star pattern, looking for a retracement in Bitcoin right now in the short term. Does this mean you should pile into your long-term shorts? Well, again, if you are trying to capture the absolute top of the market, or if you're trying to be a raw reversal trader, if you were going to look for a setup, if you were going to look for a position to enter, this would most likely be it. Because you are at the upper top of your range, you've most likely been scaling into your short thrust position if you're trading the weekly order block. I'm not saying that I recommend that you do that. That's not what I'm doing. And you would have your stop loss based upon a certain level of ATR. If you were utilizing the daily time frame, then most likely your stop loss would be around 67.06. That's a wide stop loss, but again, you're looking for a significant pullback. At least in this, you're looking at areas like 65s, or excuse me, 61, 59, 56. You're looking for areas like that. So you're looking for a significant retracement after a 3-day parabolic movement. Something else to keep in mind as well, the bearish divergence, the triple bearish divergence was negated, wasn't validated, obviously. It's like okay, good. So I don't have the drawing tools on this one. The channel, which is good. Just in here. Mr. Hut QC, thank you so much for the 3-month subscription, my good man. Thank you so much for the support, loyalty, love, friends, cheers, beers, all the good stuff, man. Thank you so much, my good friend. All right, but again, I want to caution you guys on being quick to jump into the short. All right, so let's throw up our daily baseline. So our daily baseline is pretty significantly far away from us. So what is the level that really needs to hold? The level that needs to hold, obviously, is our daily baseline. Where our daily baseline is coming in is pretty congruent with our previous daily consolidation area before Bitcoin led to this breakout. I'd say that the most important level for me that I would like ideally to see Bitcoin hold, there's 2 levels. In the short term, or excuse me, in the midterm, 5850. In the short term, 6100, right? And we've talked about this. We've talked about this pretty closely in the group. 6100 breaking is going to lead you to a good movement to the downside to around the 5850 area. 5850 failing is going to bring you back down to your consolidation period as well. Things we need to keep out overall, if price does return back to the lower trading range around the mid 55, around the mid 5,000 levels, is that we do have equal lows and levels of liquidity that have yet to be tapped, pretty much all the way down to 4,900 and actually down to 4,700 as well. We've got our secondary baseline coming in at 50.69. So pretty much the 2 major higher time frame levels of support are going to be 57.52 and 50.69. All right, so that's based on our baselines, based on price action, based on candlestick pattern closing. So 6,100 and 58.50. Right, so find congruence within those 2 levels and trade that however you see fit in your strategy. Now, we've got a third purple dot of death here on the daily time frame. Looking at the lower time frames. Obviously we are having some selling activity and selling pressure right now. However, I will point out that every time Bitcoin has generally done this, we've just consolidated to sideways a little bit, had a stop loss hunt, and continued up higher. As you can see here, we reached a local top where we had a spike in volume, consolidated sideways, had a stop loss hunt and continued higher, consolidated, had a stop loss hunt and continued higher. So generally, when you're looking for things to be different, that is the definition of insanity, expecting the same results. So just be cautious with rushing in to short Bitcoin because it has been in full honey badger mode. So just keep in mind that there is a green button on your trading terminal, as I had to poignantly point out this morning to some of the guys. Oh man, my short just got wrecked. My short just got wrecked. You guys know there's a green button. You click the green button and price goes up, you make money. All right. So with that being said, go down to the daily. And again, you know what? Everybody should be rejoicing. And it's very difficult in my mind how every time this happens, it seems like, at the moments when people should just be like super excited and happy, right? Like Bitcoin's doing some amazing things. It's official. Bears are pressing rate charges. Oh my good Lord. It seems like every time something significant in the market happens, like, okay, so what's going on right now completely reminds me of what was happening back here, right? It seems like I was hearing the same things on Twitter, from traders who really need to focus on their strategy. Everybody was just obsessed with buying the dip, right? They're like, oh man, my long just got wrecked. And now over here, people are saying my short just got wrecked. So I don't understand. Okay, listen, markets do not correct by moving sideways. Okay, markets don't correct by moving sideways. You need to see a violent sell-off. You need to see a violent rejection, and that will confirm the safety of a potential move to the downside, right? So until you see that, you're just really trying to be obsessed with catching the absolute top. And I know there's like so much, in my opinion, bad education out there about catching tops and bottoms. There's a difference between taking a likely setup on something like this, but you also want to be hedged, right? So say for example that you're looking at these blocks, right? And you're wanting to take a trade to the downside. Okay, well that's absolutely fine, right? Because they're blocks, so they do have, they're breakers, so they do have a high probability of success, right? Generally, right? Doesn't mean they're going to work every time. Nothing's magical, but again, over time, if you back test them, they tend to have a good probability of success. But, you know, when you're taking a raw reversal trade, you generally want to be hedged as safely as possible, meaning like, why don't you go long and short simultaneously? And then if your short gets squeezed, you can take profit on your long. And then if price comes back down, or you can exit your short so that you're back to being neutral, or you're weighted to the long. You can just scale. Whereas previously, closing out the loss on the short is going to be balanced by the gain on the long. And now you can just scale more into the long if you feel that price is going to be up. So you're generally waiting for periods of consolidation before you're looking for continual trades to the upside. All right, so just remember, when price typically goes sideways, the market generally, especially if you form a symmetrical pattern, you guys know how I feel about chart patterns, will continue to the upside. How many white bars? How many black bars? That's racist, bro. LMAO. Bears what? So you guys have to. So time transformation transforms my bar colors, right? So I look at Heikin-Ashi trend for regular bar coloring. So you can see that if we disable that, the bar colors. Okay. So that's typically how I look to trade. Generally, you're only looking to trade in the direction of the dominant trend, especially if you're new to trading, especially if you're not getting the results that you need. Just rethink your strategy, stop trying to trade reversals, and just look to trade continuation movements inside of a dominant trend or confirmed trending. We had a strong confirmation of a trend shift here back in February and continuing on through February 22nd. Breakout. Sense. Now we are about to get a daily sell signal. I'd like to see what kind of follow through we get from the daily sell signal. Every time we've gotten a daily sell signal, as you can see, we're coming up on it right now. And again, coming up to that level of resistance at 6,400 makes this a fairly likely area in my mind. Does that, again, I'm not telling you to rush into the short. Again, I'm not telling you not to as well, but I'm saying if you're going to take it, make sure you're hedged up, and that if price puts in another spike, that you're not going to be dramatically affected, right? This is fairly easy to do, right? Whether you have multiple accounts or you're on multiple exchanges. Again, you can be long on ByBit, you can be BitMEX until things play out in your favor, and then you unwind your position and move more into the dominant position, right? Again, taking the care and nuance with these positions, especially if you have a larger amount of capital, is kind of that main thing, right? Taking care, patience, and nuance with your positions, with your active positions, with how much money you have in a trade. Like everybody's concerned about, everybody's really concerned with like momentum, right? And entry and exit and all that stuff. Well, you should really focus on the more statistical methods of your money, right? Which is how much money you have in the trade. What is your risk? You know, where is your stop loss at? What is the distance to your stop? What is your probability of success? What is your win-loss ratio, right? What is your account balance? All these things, all those, you know, the boring accounting things are really the difference between additional profit and additional loss. Andrew Adams, you are so welcome, man. I enjoyed Deribit as well. And I quite enjoy trading on ByBit. Oh, you guys just got a sneak peek. You know, that's something that my computer's been doing. So I think I need to. I don't know why it does that. I'm pretty sure it's that screen switching thing, or maybe it's the way I have my monitor synced up. But anyways, you guys got to see Anon's face yesterday, and you guys, if you guys go and watch on 1080p in like slow mode, you can actually just see that was a flash of the first page of lesson 1 of my course. Okay, so let's get into some. But anyway, okay, so the thought that I wanted to say with that is every time we've gotten the daily sell signal on time transformation, we pull back to the daily baseline, right? We pull back to the daily baseline and we hold the daily. You have a little bit of a fake out here. We close above it on this candle. And on that candle, we also get a continuation cross, a little bit of hidden bearish divergence. We see waning bearish momentum. We don't actually get the confirmation until this candle right here. This candle right here. Or you can look for the open and close above the baseline as well, because that's a continuation back into the dominant trend. So there's multiple ways that you can do so. But anyways, so yeah, if we do get the daily sell signal, I would expect us to see a pullback down to the daily baseline. So that's going to be about a $646 correction. When will we see ByBit charts on TradingView? I want my indicators. Yeah, I completely agree with you. Now, what you can do is you can obviously analyze the BitMEX chart, just as you can with Deribit, and then proceed and do your analysis trading over there. But the best way to do it is tweet at them, man. Send them support tickets, let them know, start up the movement. So guys, let's get out there. Can we tweet at TradingView? Do they have a Twitter? But open up some support tickets, guys, on TradingView and let them know. Let the world know, let TradingView know that we want ByBit and we want Deribit on TradingView. Not take no for an answer, unless they say no. The what and the why. Is this a 1 second free trial? Good work, man. Good work. No, lesson one's about 15 pages long. Single space, 10 font. Roy Coin says, hey, how do I get time transformation on TradingView? Seems blocked right now, but from what I've heard, it's a nice indicator. It is a fantastic indicator. I honestly think that Minx is going to be a little better, but that's not because it's just calculated differently, right? So it's a different indicator. And that's another indicator that I'm finishing. But the nice thing about Minx is that you can open up the settings window and you can tell it how you want to trade, right? There's a drop down box right here that says, what would you like to trade, Mr. Trader? Would you like to trade trend trades? Would you like to trade reversals within the trend? Or would you like to trade raw reversals, right? And there's associated risk with each one of those. And then you can fully customize it to trade those as you want. And I'm going to actually go back and redo time transformation in that fashion. Not going to change anything that time transformation does, but I'm just going to change it so that you can more easily set it to how you want to trade. Time transformation, Quadrigo ATR, and Minx are only available to subscribers to the premium trading group. So if you're interested in that, you can, of course, check the link out at the top of the screen. Get our educational content, our private Discord community, our signals and setups, as well as all our educational material and mentoring and guidance from all our analysts and traders. The TAM says, dropping the gold nuggets, the boring accounting of you constructing your capital deployment in a trade setup. Yeah. Too many people short and want price down, so price up. True, man. People are trading against the dominant trend. Let's go take a look at Ethereum, guys. Go take a gander at Mr. Baby Ethereum. All right, so here we can see the example of our blocks, our daily blocks, just working gorgeously, right? Out of the long position on Ethereum that we had taken, and we can see, okay, the daily sell, as we see, the daily sell signal that we get on Ethereum right here, when we get the daily sell signal, we do pull back to the daily baseline. We actually do get a little bit of a bounce and reject from the bearish order block. Remember, this is still a bearish order block. It's not a breaker yet. Bearish order blocks become bullish breakers. Bullish order blocks become bearish breakers, right? I love you too, Astro Rev. So we can see here that we do have a down candle, right? We do have a little bit of a down movement, which leads to a break in market structure. And anytime price revisits this area, we should buy it up, target our bearish order block. We close convincingly below this level, which makes it a bearish breaker. And we have our previous bullish breaker right here, right? We have our previous bullish breaker right here. Why? Because this is the last up candle. This is the last significant up candle before price led to a shift in market structure. Higher lows, higher high, or lower highs, lower lows, right? And then price comes up and tests that area, rejects, and then price breaks convincingly through with little resistance, which turns the bearish order block into a bullish breaker, which means any revisits into the bearish breaker, bullish breaker, we buy. So as you can see, we close below this block right here, which turns it into a breaker that we can take shorts from. We buy a price right here. Any shorts that we put on here did give you a good profit potential. You come up and consolidate within the block. If you consolidate within the block, it invalidates the block, right? Because if you consolidate at resistance, it's a bullish sign. So you want to see rejection, swift and harsh rejection. So even if you would have laddered in here, you would have taken a small loss. You would have had 2 days to exit your position. If you were unsure, of course, you do get the close above the candle, and then you get pullbacks into, the close above the block, and you get pullbacks into the block, and then price pushes up and tags your bearish order block. Now, what are we seeing right now? We see price revisiting the bearish order block, which means that shorts are in order. If we consolidate within the bearish order block, then it's most likely going to break and we exit our position. Yeah, Ethereum putting in a little bit of a nice last hourly candle right here. Litecoin as well, still below POC and VWAP on the lower time frames. So not super nifty on it. Ripple putting in a higher low, and a doji on the hourly. Let's see, the 3-4 alts that I was watching, I'm not really interested in anymore. Ethereum is pretty interesting. Of the daily baseline, you can see we pulled down to that daily baseline. Coming up into this zone, be looking for a nice BPC right here. Or liquidity grab. So it's either a liquidity grab or a breakout. What do we need? We need confirmation. Marius G, thank you so much for the subscription on YouTube, my good man. We get a nice bottom here, almost on time transformation. A little bit of regular. Nope, no divergence on that one, but just a good bottom, right off the bottom, right off the oversold level right there. And we're about to be getting trending buy signal close of this hourly candle. Close this hourly candle. Loss around 173. Danger zone though. If you're bullish, you're kind of looking to enter at old lows. Essentially, snag that pullback or that wick. Kind of similar to how we took the Aetherium trade. Then right here, we were right here. Yeah, here was the last Ethereum trade that we took, man. And, you know, what's interesting is, you know, we didn't think we were going to get filled, right? Because, you know, price was kind of around here and we had set some lower bids. Actually, we entered, I think, right around here. We set our bids right around here. Yeah, because I remember we set bids down here. We didn't think they were going to get filled because we thought price was pumping. And then this wick actually got us filled. We had a couple take profits. Price returned. Patience. There we go. And we'll go ahead and delete that trade for right now. Yep, we grabbed liquidity here. That's good. Grabbed liquidity there. Good. Up into the block, which does concern me a little bit, but this will be good if we can get back above 175.50. 175.50 and do a BPC, there'll be a breakout trade at least to 180.89. Otherwise, we just form a lower high, and I'd be looking to trade that pattern down to the day. .65% movement. You know, really my big idea, really all I'm kind of waiting for is, you know, still sitting in spot BTC. I'm still sitting in spot BTC, waiting for confirmation to take a trade back down for a correction. Anything that's like lower time frame, again, you know, putting most of my attention and focus on Ethereum. And, you know, a lot of people are really excited about altcoins right now. Not. Really not. I think that it's coming. But, you know, in chess, the pawns go first, right? So once the pawns have bought up price, then I'll enter on confirmation of a trend shift. Right now, I'll leave all the bottom scraping stuff to the bots for the most part. All right. 1240. Johnny says, have you seen that wick on ZERP BTC longs on Bitfinex? Get the fuck out of here. Oh man, somebody went massively. Oh, that's funny. Getting pretty somebody's burlish on their BTC. Thank you, Daniel Bernard. I appreciate that. What's the most accurate, best tool for a beginner to use when learning to short? Trend confirmation. Like short something when it's broken support. Ideally, when it's pulled back and retested that support as resistance. Don't try to catch tops. Eli, let's check out Haven for you, brother. Well, it must be good because it's so cheap, man. Okay, yeah, I mean, we did have... Yeah, I mean, we got this bullish order block that we just came into. Just barely wicked off that baby right there. A little bit of hourly rejection on Bitcoin right now. Hourly rejection on Ethereum as well, right from the POC. Ripple and Litecoin still below POC and VWAP. So. Down there. Buy Digitex and Bankera coin. No. No, thank you. Will alts recover? I mean, I think so, yes. Is it something that I'm going to trade on? No. No. But again, you know, I want you guys to keep in mind my bias, like not a big altcoin lover, right? There's very few of them. And the reason why is because, you know, as a trader, one of the first lessons that I had to learn, and this was true in equity and this is true in Forex, right? Just because something was cheap and I could get lucky and buy it and price just so happened to go up, that didn't make me a good trader, right? The reality is, and I highly agree with this article that was posted the other day, is most people think that, you know, buying alts cheap and selling them when they're high is trading. And it's not, right? It's not. Gambling. Most of those people cannot make money in a highly liquid market that actually has valid setups or more valid setups like Bitcoin or Ethereum, right? And that's okay, right? You're gonna have your subsets everywhere, and I don't want to alienate the whole community by saying that, right? I'm just letting you guys know that you guys are in a different facet of trading, right? You guys are in a different facet of trading, and that's totally fine. It's totally fine. I'm just saying that when you guys are understanding why I say the things that I say, I'm approaching it from that mindset, right? But eventually, Mr. Dave P, yes. I don't have any confirmation of a trend resistance here. I mean, we are getting a little bit of resistance here on the hourly. Interesting activity. So we'll see what shakes out of this consolidation. I've never even heard of that exchange. Bin Laden? Like Osama? Okay, so broken. We have a bearish order block here that once broken led to a shift in market structure. It got bought up here, and it got bought up here, but it failed here, rejected here, confirmed to the downside, coming back into that daily. So here, I mean, this is your last line in the sand, right? And it does seem like it's getting bought up a little bit in prescience before that level. So I would assume that this would continue to fail, honestly. Especially if we can't trade above level right here, especially if we can't trade above our previous daily high. Hey, Bob Builder, good to see you, man. Y'all make me want to out my money into winky face, eyes open, eyes wide shut. X-Haven Protocol, man, I'd say that if we can get above 59.39, you could potentially take this to the previous bearish breakdown zone. It's going to be around 7,000 to 7,500. Stretches down a little bit lower than that, actually. Maybe around 67.52. You said you got out around 9,500? All right, you're a beast, dude. You are a beast. Thank you. You can scatter some bids. You can put a stank bid in from 47.54 to 49.18. Let's see, what is ATR percent right now? So daily time frame, looking for like a 20% stop loss, which means you're gonna have to have a significantly small position size, right? So there's nothing wrong with a wide stop loss. You just need to have a much smaller position size, right? So for example, if you normally So if your risk is, actually this is the better way to talk about it. If you have a $5,000 account and you're using a 3% risk factor and you're allowed to lose $150 per trade, whatever position size is going to give you a $150 loss with a 20% stop loss, for example. People hear me say that and they think I'm crazy. I'm like, no, it doesn't matter the width of your stop loss. It doesn't matter the width of your stop loss. It matters the risk that you're assuming with that stop loss, right? And the nice thing too is that you should have some system that tells you when to be out of a trade, right? Like when your trade has been invalidated. They fill me with joy too, Dr. Faz. Let's go look at, people are asking about Verge. Daily buy signal, but again, the last 4 have not worked out so well for us because long trend to the downside. Okay, so we're all the way back and talking about stuff back here. Hinder her. All right, so we've got our bullish block. Why? Because lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower highs, lower lows, and then a shift in market structure. Higher lows, higher highs. I would say that this would probably work as well. Higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs. And then this candle right here would be your block. And where's prices with that block right now? What we need to see is if it's been tested before. I don't actually know. Okay, that makes, don't really. No. This one I don't really. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, local rejection. Ooh, yeah, I don't really like this. Yeah, I don't really like this. Already penetrated the bottom. Yeah, I said that. And, you know, we wicked back up. We got that daily buy signal, but I really need to see some more follow through on this, man. Low volume. Now, if we consolidate within this block, then I'll probably feel pretty good about it. You can see the daily baseline going sideways right here, as well as the secondary baseline. So if this continues to go consolidate and this continues to go flat, then you can look for pushes up to test the daily baseline. But other than that, I mean, you got to remember, if you fail this level, which means if you open and close a daily candle below it, your next area supports 59 to 49 sats, and that's a 50% drop from where you're at right now. Hold your Bitcoin and sell your alts. The bulls are coming. All right, Bitcoin back up at 6,400. Go, baby. Show me how powerful you can be. Majestic majesty. Let's see here. Oh, goddamn, Ethereum's doing its shit. Litecoin's coming up as well. All right, so Ethereum looks good on the hourly. Let's see if we can hold this level. Good day, guys. Good day for the bulls. Man, we haven't even gotten into all this news I want to talk about. Markets. All right, guys, I need to go grab some water. You guys know what time it is. I've been doing this for an hour. Been doing this for an hour. So let me take a quick break, guys. Go Ganania. Thank you so much for the super chat, my good friend. Really love your videos. Heart, take a look at cryptobubbles.net. You will love it. Oh, you mean this site right here? Oh, to it not. Yeah, I really like this site. A good day. All right, guys, so let me go grab some water. Thank you so much, Go Ganania. Yeah, this is a really cool, fun site. Highly appreciated, my good friend. All right, let's see if Ethereum's going to reject from this liquidity grab. Didn't really grab liquidity. Didn't really grab these tops, but definitely testing them. And this level needs to hold the bottom of the order block. So we have support. I'd say, actually, you know what? I'd be okay if 174.70 holds 175.50. Really what I want to hold. That next bullish push up to 180.89. And Bitcoin at 63.98. Still hasn't broken above the high yet. Testing. Throwing the jab. Throwing the jab. Ripple still looks like shit. Yeah. People are making a move. Earth, wind, water, fire, and heart, Captain. Any thoughts on why, how Bitcoin cracked through 6,400 on the very first try? There were more buyers than sellers, man. Usually what happens when price goes up. Sorry to be sarcastic. And, I mean, just for clarity's sake, we haven't closed anything. And on Bitstamp. Okay, I need that water, guys. I feel like I'm dying here. Andrew Munns. PBR on sale? Oh, that's a good day. Bitcoin's flying and PBR's on sale. Time to crack a cold one. Watch the markets. All right, when I return, we're going to look at some news. We're going to break down a little bit more intraday price. And we're going to take your requests. So if you guys got anything you'd like us to look at, let me know in the chat and I'll add it to the request window. Mike689, thank you so much for the sub on YouTube, my good man. Highly appreciated. And we'll be right back, guys. All right, guys, we're back. Thank you so much for sticking in there, man. Holding out for the break. All right, let's take a look at price. Nice things, guys. Mike Stokeman, that's actually not correct. According to Binance, anyways. According to Binance, that's not correct. So CZ already tweeted about that, just the exact thing that you just said in the chat. He said that is not a Binance wallet address. You guys need to get your facts right. I'm not saying that to you. I'm saying that's what CZ said. Says it was mislabeling. Bum, bum, bum. They're giving away something for. Oh, it's such good coffee, man. Texas Blues. Says, got asked to play a solo acoustic show at a private high-end whiskey tasting party last week in Dallas. The guy throwing it was a Dallas heavy hitter hedge fund trader. His name was Kyle. During the night, we chatted with me and said he loved my music, tipped me $200. I still didn't know who he was. Super cool dude. Later, I asked what his last name was. It was Kyle Bass. Hell yeah, man. Do I have a video on time transformation? Yes, I absolutely do. It's available to all subscribers to the premium. In fact, I'm going to be making another video on it here pretty soon for another strategy. All right, Ethereum coming up right above those previous highs, relatively equal highs. It's not a failure to achieve. It's just a liquidity grab. Let's see if we correct it all or if we just continue pushing. Continue pushing is very bullish. That means we basically trapped any shorts that shorted here. Because what we just did was we just hit short liquidations, right? We just hit short liquidations. And as expected, price hit those short liquidations and down. CZ is selling you promises. Be careful. CZ is not selling me anything. Could I turn on the voice? What do you mean? Can you not hear me? I think you might have your stream muted. I'm so flash that you already knew cryptobubbles.net. I can turn on the music. Price action is pretty straightforward to chart out. Timing, not so much. Right. So there's often a big, and that's the reason why it's not that price action analysis is untradeable, because again, a lot of the stuff that we talk about on the stream is price action analysis. It's just that insofar as execution on building a well-defined if this then that strategy that has an edge in the market is easily repeatable, is easily testable, and is verifiable, it is difficult because there's often a huge gap in between a trader's analytical ability, their chart analysis, their charting, and then their actual trading income, right? Their actual efficacy to go into the markets and pull profit based on their charting ability. And you should deserve that, right? Most individuals have good analytical capability, right? The market's not too difficult to chart out: support and resistance, equilibrium, momentum, things of that nature. Getting bought up so far. Dr. Fast says, all systems are a go here. Video, sound, your pink shirt, everything is great. Thank you, man. Waiting for that Ty Lopez pump. Knowledge. Do I think we make it to 7K? I don't see why we wouldn't. Subscriber, Blake Schaefer, thank you so much for the sub on YouTube, my good friend. A pullback right now seems likely at that $6,400 area. Avon, thank you so much for the sub on YouTube as well, my good friend. Let me guys know if the music's too loud. I can turn it down. I feel like it's a little too loud. Wounded Warrior, thank you so much for the subscription on YouTube, guys. You guys are absolutely fantastic. And God, I didn't sell my Ethereum yet. Hell yeah. What do we do when Bitcoin tops? Should we switch to Tether or any altcoin? It's my recommendation that you switch to most likely USD. Blake Schaefer, so I stream every day from noon to 2 CDT and on the weekends from 5 to 7 p.m. CDT. Vic NG on Twitch says, I'm sorry, I saw this earlier, my good friend, but he says shorts keep on rising, price keeps on climbing. Absolutely right. So let's talk about some of that news, guys. Oh, sorry, this is the new tool that we're building. Sufi Algorithm, thank you so much for the subscription on YouTube. Oh, very nice, dude. You added the Eller Super Smooth filter to the difference between distances. Oh, see, that's what we need right there. Yeah, that's indicative. Here. Okay, we can get move from a swing back into consolidation. Move from a swing back into consolidation. I like that. All right, guys, so the SEC has count them, 1, 2, 3 potential ETFs in front of them. It's got a new one just now. This one is called the, the heck is it called? The Crescent. The Crescent Crypto Index Fund, which wants to change on the New York Stock Exchange, ARCA, under the ticker XPET. All right. So we still have the Bitwise and the VanEx SolidX ETF proposal in front of them. Obviously, just in case you guys have been living under a rock, the SEC has ruled that Bitcoin and Ethereum are not securities. They've been kind of lax and dovish on their reactions to other altcoins as well, depending on whether they were sold as an ICO. Basically, my idea is that if you were sold as an ICO, you're a security, and if you were not sold as an ICO, you're probably not a security. All right, now Bitcoin having a nice little rejection here, down to 63.74. Ethereum as well, down to 174.90. Litecoin still popping up, touching VWAP, touching daily point of control. Let's see what happens. I can't really get super excited about Litecoin until we close the hourly above not 1240. Important levels to hold, guys. Important level for Ripple as well. Not 4,800 sats. 1219, 1220 for, or 1240, excuse me, for Litecoin. I'd really like to see 1220 to 1240 is a potential scalp trade here for Litecoin. It's got nice momentum, just bottomed on the hourly hammer. I'm not running into short Bitcoin yet. Intraday, I mean, if it consolidates here, you'll see it wick down to 6,300, and if it continues on in its pump, sideways consolidation, and push up, then it'll continue to the upside. Ethereum pulled down to 175, 174-ish. That's the daily point of control. Also breakout zone. If we hold this level, push higher, it's good. I'll see 180. Otherwise, we could dip down here to 172. 172. 170 is the absolute level to hold on Ethereum. Anyways. Walt, 2D2, thank you so much for the follow on Twitch, my good friend. Welcome to the community. Time to throw them hands up. I'm gonna jazz beat myself on up to $50,000. What do I think of VeChain? It's not too bad. What do I look for to confirm the bottom is in? I don't look for anything to confirm the bottom is in because that is predictive. Can't predict the future. If the bears close their shorts, and they will be wrecked. USD is a position, yes. Flat is a position. Ty York, good to see you, my good friend. All right, yeah, so obviously the proposal here is that shares of XBET are expected to trade on New York Stock Exchange ARCA under the ticker symbol XBET. All right, I kind of like that. XBET, you're betting on cryptocurrency. It's volatile. P. Escobar, yeah, man, I was looking for you for a while. You're a 50% winner, brother. You can pick any subscription package that you like. Hit me up in the Discord or respond to that email. I got you, man. All right, so there we have that. Here's, so CZ giving an update on the latest Binance security update. We'll just go to it right here, and I'll give you guys the cliff notes of this. Let's pull this open. All right, so they're making upgrades. Obviously, there's nothing really like good as far as information here. And CZ even said, and this is true, guys. He's saying, listen, we can't just like tell you guys everything as much as we want to be completely transparent and everything with this situation. The more information that we give, you have to realize that hackers are watching every AMA, looking at every blog post. So if we just tell you guys what we're doing specifically, then they'll have vectors of attack, right? Because they'll kind of know specifically what we're doing. Bitcoin's still at 63.77. Ethereum trading down below the daily point of control, 174.50, still above VWAP. And so basically the highlights of this is that they are going to be making upgrades to their API, which was the biggest thing. The API was used to withdraw all that Bitcoin. If this was not an inside job, which we have no confirmation of yet, they're making upgrades to their two-factor authentication and their withdrawal validation arenas. Obviously, those were the areas significantly targeted by the hackers. The biggest thing, in my opinion, is that they're going to be adding hardware support for YubiKey. Now, if you do not have a YubiKey, I recommend that you go out and get one. Binance is going to be giving away 1,000 YubiKeys. So And as one of our members in the Premium Lounge posted last night, YubiKeys keys are far more secure than Google Authenticator because they have a public and a private key. Just much better, much more difficult to crack, excuse me. So the 7,000 Bitcoin transfer was the only transaction in which funds were stolen from Binance. Obviously, this is quite simple to verify on the blockchain. Experts are watching every Binance wallet. They're still investigating their entire system to make sure they've eradicated all traces of the hackers. They are tentatively looking to enable withdrawals early next week. Now, I was asked yesterday on my thoughts about Binance, and this is because you guys know my opinion on the entire Crypto Capital Corporation debacle, right? So we do have information coming out. Nothing confirmed yet, but potential information coming out that Bitfinex are potentially going to be indicted because of basically their actions. Because though we still know that there's still the freeze, the New York Attorney General's office still has the freeze, the hold on the Tether Treasury Fund. So Bitfinex cannot legally, unless they want to incur the wrath of the United States government, move funds from the Tether Treasury bank account to their bank account, right? They can't actually withdraw funds because of the $850 million cover-up. The owner, the CEO of Crypto Capital Corporation, which was, it appears to be emerging as the central bank of cryptocurrency, has been arrested by the United States government, as well as another Israeli woman in connection with charges of money laundering, connections with the Colombian drug cartel, and Bitfinex. And guess what other exchanges, guys? I'm sorry to say, but this is the information that we have. Supposedly, Crypto Capital Corporation also services Kraken, Binance. Guess what other exchange they serviced? Give you a hint. It starts with a Q and ends with an A. Yes, if you said Quadriga, you were right. So, unfortunately, guys, just these major exchanges are just caught up and tied up in this whole thing. And as much as I like Kraken, this is difficult for me to say because I really like the guys from Kraken, right? The guys from Kraken, they've been around for a long time. They've been some of the most honest and ethical people in the space. But again, they suffer from that same issue that Bitfinex had, which got them into this big debacle in the first place, right? They're trying to provide a good service for their customers. They have a great platform. They have a great matching engine. But when it comes to actually doing USD onboarding, right, which they're trying to do to grow the ecospace, to grow the ecosystem, to get more investment into Bitcoin, unfortunately, they got railroaded by any traditional revenue stream, any traditional revenue source. And because of that, they had to seek out other opportunities and other ways to make it happen. And unfortunately, they got themselves involved with shady characters. So it sucks. The Kraken's tied up in this. Binance is potentially tied up in this. Now, Binance is a little bit different, though, honestly, in my opinion. I don't really feel that Binance is going to be exit scamming or doing anything drastically different. Obviously, the 7,000 Bitcoin thing is kind of like whack-a-noodle, but they've got money coming out of their ass, to be quite honest, man. And as I said, if Binance adds this long and short margin trading on altcoins, especially with the profligancy, that's not the right, I'm mispronouncing that. But anyways, with the amount of altcoins that they have, it's going to change the game. There's going to be a lot more excitement. You're going to see a lot more traders come into the space. Traders. I'm not saying capital necessarily, but liquidity. So that's different. So large amounts of capital. I'm talking about large scale investments, more active buyers. Traders. They're going to be buying and selling because they're going to be going to the upside and the downside. So it's a little bit different than just saying, oh, there's going to be more liquidity, so price is going to go up. Those are the highlights of that. Now, Jameson Lopp publishing basically an uncensored, yeah, you know the saying, man, lay with dogs. I got you, brother. So this is actually really interesting. I'm going to go ahead and drop this in the chat. This is from Jameson Lopp. You guys know I'm a pretty big fan of Jameson Lopp. Pretty big fan of Jameson Lopp, and I think he's one of the best guys in the ecosystem. And he published this article. You know, this is a while ago about how this is called "How Many Wrongs Make a Right," and he basically just breaks down why and how Craig Wright is absolutely a scam. So you guys know our opinion at Kraken Cryptocurrency on Craig Wright. He can, eat something. And I just want to point this down. So this is a little quick bullet point of what we know and can prove is that Craig Wright has a documented history of questionable statements and activities. He has a history of appearing to exaggerate his academic credentials. He has made a multitude of technical errors in his writings that call his understanding of Bitcoin and internet technology into question. His writing style, according to text analysis and demeanor, do not appear to be the same as those of Satoshi, whose writings are archived here. There's a link. Craig Wright once said, "I am a lawyer and financial law is my area of speciality," whereas the real Satoshi, when asked about how financial law applied to Bitcoin, said, "I am not a lawyer and I can't possibly answer that." Wright once said, "At no point have I said that Bitcoin is a cryptocurrency, and yet Satoshi called Bitcoin a cryptocurrency on several occasions." Wright once said that he is an academic coder who has no idea about real-world coding, but Satoshi has said, "I'm better with code than with words, though." In 2008, 6 months before the anonymous Satoshi Nakamoto appeared, Wright made a public post stating that anonymity is the shield of cowards. It is the cover used to defend their lies. My life is open and I have little care for my privacy. Because you're a dumbass. In February 2011, he seemed unaware of Bitcoin at all as he was thinking about starting a gold-backed payment system. In August 2011, he began to mention Bitcoin in his writings, but he called it Bitcoin with a capital C and a space, whereas Satoshi never used a space or capital C in emails or forum posts. He actively bought and traded coins on Mt. Gox in 2013 and 2014. He once asked why you would use X's rather than zeros in a burn address. Satoshi Nakamoto invented the base 58 encoding scheme used for these addresses, which intentionally excludes numbers and letters that look similar, such as zeros and the letter O. He once claimed that Bitcoin's block size was set in the block header, which it is not. He once claimed that Satoshi chose the SECP 256K1 curve due to bilinear pairing properties, but Satoshi once said that, "I didn't find anything to recommend a curve type, so, I just picked one." In an interview with GQ, Craig Wright claims, "I haven't moved any Bitcoins. I have sent them to Hal Finney and Zuko," that's Giacomo Zuko, and that was it. But in 2009, Satoshi Nakamoto sent 82.51 Bitcoin to Mike Hearn. He has thus far failed to provide simple cryptographic proof that he controls keys belonging to Satoshi after promising to do so, and the cryptographic proof that he did provide has been widely debunked by numerous experts, including Patrick McKenzie, Dan Kaminsky, and Robert Graham. All right, and this goes on and on and on and on and on and on and on. So if you guys really want a deep dive into why Craig Wright is not Satoshi Nakamoto, it's all right here, guys. Seems like I continue to pull these out all the time. All right, Bitcoin skyrockets to 6-month high after arch nemesis touts an absurd ban. So obviously, we have a Democratic congressman. What is this? Brad Sherman, clown. Brad Sherman coming out and just stating blankly, honestly, guys, that cryptocurrency is an attack on American foreign power, right? Cryptocurrency purports to take power away from governments and institutions, and so this is why we need to nip this in the bud, as he says, and secure American domination over the rest of the world. We have a lot of oil interest and oil money that is cleared through New York bank accounts. We have basically our biggest, America's biggest leverage or point of leverage is their ability to utilize the fact that the dollar is the world reserve currency, and if something were to dethrone that, that would be significantly dangerous for America's stance of power in the world. Now, this is obviously a little controversial for me because I am a proud American. I do love my country quite a bit. That's where I live. I think that if you don't love where you're at, then you should, shut the fuck up or try to change it. And that's what I try to do every day with my show and try to teach people how to empower themselves through what they do. But I also do want the world to be a better place, and I don't necessarily agree that the dominant paradigm is the best, but keep in mind, I'm also definitely not wearing a red scarf around my neck. Whoa. Am I trying to get sued? Yeah, you're right. Craig Wright might issue a lawsuit against me. So it's basically like one of those things, right? Because the argument, I'll just lay out both arguments, right? So the argument that you would hear from the right side of the arena is that overall, Western-style capitalism has raised the world out of poverty. We have less, obviously we've improved the amount of people living on less than $1 a day by over 50% over the last 10 years, by 85% over the last century. And that, it's kind of like, if any of you guys are like Walking Dead fans, it's kind of like the argument between like Negan, I would say. It's like the argument between Negan and him like making the world a better place. I think that's kind of an extreme example. And the argument between like Rick Grimes, right? So you've got like who's good or who's bad. You know, Negan says that his method of brutality is the best for the world to move forward. And, you know, unfortunately, human beings are tribalistic individuals that want strongmen and want people to lead them for the most part. Excuse me. I'm trying to delve into how far I want to take this. So, I don't know. It's a controversial topic. I'd like to know your comments about it. You know, obviously, you're not from the United States. Probably don't like us very much, which is totally fine. I get that. We're dicks. We're fat. We're stupid. Not all of us are. And overall, you're going to have good people and bad people wherever you go. So, you know, I want the world to be a better place. How to get there? Difficult, right? So, again, focus on yourself. Focus on making yourself good. Focus on making your family good. Focus on making your community good. And then that tends to just stretch out, right? I don't have a lot of respect for these like whack-a-noodle revolutionaries running around in the street throwing pipe bombs and shit. The reason why is because if your home life isn't good, if you haven't improved yourself, you know, what audacity do you have to go out there and think the world's going to be a better place? Don't try and change the world if you can't change yourself. It's people who are legitimately motivated and good and got their own personal issues and activities on lock that then can go out there and do better things. And yeah, we went over that court case just the other day ago about the new issue that was ruled on that. All right, so this article is pretty cool. I'm going to drop this in the chat as well. Bitcoin won the store of value battle. Now altcoins have to justify their existence. So obviously we can just, this is all like common knowledge stuff. Obviously you can look at the market capitalization of Bitcoin. You can look at the dominance that is almost at an all-time high. Yeah, you're right, John Dunn. There are dicks everywhere. Getting mom some Bitcoin for Mother's Day. Aw, Eric, that's so sweet. It is this Sunday, I believe. So make sure you guys do something nice for your mothers. Will altcoins rise again? Not only must alts justify a use case, but given changes in the marketplace, winging it is no longer enough. Speculative investors with little knowledge or interest in the underlying technology exited during the bear market. Those left who are generally sophisticated investors who are clued up on value indicators, terminology, and TA. The death of over 900 altcoin projects and the continuing struggle of many more is not a coincidence. Now the market has a greater awareness of what's valuable. Projects with no fundamental value will continue to dip. Speaking about the relationship between Bitcoin and altcoins, crypto advocate and CEO of the White Company, Elizabeth White, said, altcoins used to be the ultimate speculative play in 2017. As soon as Bitcoin rose, people took profits and moved to altcoins hoping they would follow. The market quickly adjusted, and in 2018, everything moved together, both up and down. The majority of speculative investors will end up thinly traded and die off because most of them have not done anything and have completely failed to realize their promises. And if past performance is anything to go by, a rise in Bitcoin's price should also mean a surge in altcoin price. But this time around, taking into account improved market knowledge, perhaps there will be a decoupling of this relationship. Useless projects will fade away as Bitcoin takes off. Let me know what you guys think about this. You guys know that I am supportive of the entire cryptocurrency community. And, you know, I think that we all have the right. Everything's open source, man. You're more than welcome to take your chance. But I don't necessarily see anything that has more fundamental value than Bitcoin. Pretty speculative about most things. There are a couple projects that I like. Got to have real world use case. All right, Ethereum continuing its a little bit of a pullback here. Go to the hourly. Go to the hourly here. Bitcoin may serve the disempowerment of the United States. Congressman. No, Binance is not offering withdrawals yet. They said tentatively next week. If I look at Bitcoin dominance on December 2016, I'll see a huge dominance squeeze. And remember what happened with alts that month? Yeah, let's go take a look at our big fundamentals. Start off with total market cap. Total market cap consolidating within the bearish breaker. Daily bearish breaker hasn't quite broken out yet. Still, you know, and I like that. We held the daily baseline and pushing up. This looks quite good. Total market cap 2. This is altcoin market cap right now. Still not there yet, man. Lower highs, lower lows. Haven't had a shift in market structure yet. This might potentially be a higher low. All right, and we need to see a higher high. And then I'll be pretty bullish on altcoins. Something is not an attractive investment to me because it's cheap. Something is an attractive investment to me if it's confirmed that it's bullish. Does Ether's infinite supply scare me? Yeah, I don't like Ethereum. Do I think people are going to dump on Binance when they open up? Why wouldn't they? If people buying crypto are not programmers, how can they judge the project from a technical perspective? Well, you can do like I do. Like, you know, I'm not a programmer, but I have a very deep fundamental understanding of how Bitcoin works. I understand how hashing works. I understand how mining works. I understand how the blockchain network works. I understand elliptical curve cryptography. And I've read the Bitcoin standard. I've read programming Bitcoin. I've read programming Ethereum. And I'm not a programmer. Like, I can't go to my keyboard and make it happen, but I get it. Not as well as a programmer would, obviously. And then, you know, also what I have, you know, you think some of these, like, you think top tier investors are all programmers, and they're investing in projects and companies they don't fully understand, but they have advisors who tell them. So I have individuals that are programmers, that are developers on my team, and I ask them. They give me advice. I don't think you need to move your coins out of Binance. But again, better to be safe than sorry. I do recommend that you get anything and all things that you can move. Anything that's transferable. If you have anything on Bitfinex, get it out. Get it out, man. So total crypto market cap consolidating in between the daily baseline and the secondary daily baseline. What do we got going on here? We have time transformation crossing below the zero line and also throwing up bullet or bearish impetus. From Wadatar confirming we do have the explosion line curling down, and we do have bearish candlesticks or bearish bars trading above the explosion level. That's confirmation of a trending short, especially because we've closed and opened and closed and rejected from our daily baseline. This does not look bullish to me. Let's see if this rough area. If I hear one person say that this looks like an inverted head and shoulders, I'm gonna, because you can't do that stuff on oscillator, but you're gonna see people do that with stochastic and RSI. So we'll see. Higher low potential, but we need to have a candle open and close higher than this to actually form a low. You need to have a low and then two higher lows on either side. So depending on how the next daily candle goes, then potentially we'll look at alts. But right now, it does not look good. Over to Bitcoin dominance. Breaking above new all-time highs. What did they say? If I look at BTCD on December 2017, see a big squeeze. Shut it down. Yeah, Bitfinex has been charged guilty in court. Is that confirmed? Do you have the link? I need the link. I want the link. Been talking about that for a while, but I want the link. Not true if I don't have the link. Picture or it didn't happen. Yeah. Yeah, right now it's just speculation that BitMEX themselves have been indicted. Yeah, I saw the same video, guys. All right, so December 2017, Bitcoin dominance for me is only going back to the 31st of 2017, my good friend. It's actually January 2018. Litecoin rejected from VWAP and point of control. Well, yeah. I say I have friends in high places when I'm trying to get into the club for free. James Glenn, hey, what's going on, my good friend? Quick explanation of X42, what my thoughts are on it. I really like X42, man. I really like X42. I like the team. I like the people. I like what they're trying to build. I really like, you know, they've got a great wallet as well. They've got a great staking process. Again, I don't support the project to get rich. In fact, I've had Gabe on the show, and he blankly states, hey, we're doing this project to make the world a better place. We're not necessarily doing it to make money. They're basically trying to do exactly what Ethereum's trying to do. So they're, you know, you can deploy smart contracts on their platform. You can, if this blockchain's running out of cryptocurrency, that's why they're having the consensus proof of work. Yeah, they're basically trying to do what Ethereum's trying to do, but better, in my opinion, structurally from the ground up. Is running a blockchain where you can have a world supercomputer on it. The transactions are almost instantaneous. There's the transactions are free. There's no transaction cost. Eco Bruce Sam, thank you so much for the subscription on YouTube, my good friend. 12 minutes ago. Sorry I missed you, but when I got the tunes on, sometimes it's hard to hear what's going on. Wounded Warrior, that's correct. Direction is less important than volatility. At least that's the day trading perspective. If you're trend following, then direction is important. But current price is what's most important. All right, so getting back into BTC dominance, do we have anything massively significant coming up around here? Obviously, we have this high. Plot that out. About it. Actually redo this chart a little bit. The last up candle that led to a significant shift in market trend or market structure, it would obviously be this one. Now, I usually don't like doing candles like this because I don't like doing wicks. I would much prefer to do this one because it's the last large candle. But in some circumstances like this, you kind of have to make a subjective choice whether you want to utilize the body of the previous candle or whether you want to use the high and the low of this candle, right? So in this particular circumstance, and see, this is the problem with price action analysis. There come times, as objective as you try to make it, it's very difficult to exit the realm of subjectivity. Consolidation. Yep. I have friends in low places that sneak me in. That's awesome, man. Crypto Da Vinci, hey, what's going on, my good friend? But I could look at it quite easily. Yeah, here we go. Dominance. All right, thank you so much. Get you, TradingView. Let's mark up this chart. Local high on Bitcoin dominance. Let's go back over here. This is going to be, yep. All right, so here we are in December 2017. We have that big, just parabolic run up. And then Bitcoin dominance pretty much just drops for an entire month. And altcoins did their thing. The problem with that, though, is this. Completely different market structure, man. That was back in the end of 2017 when everything was high, right? Like, that was not what we have now. Is a situation where Bitcoin is high and altcoins are in the ground. Okay, what we had back in December 2017 was a completely different situation where Bitcoin was high and everything else was also quite high, right? And then everybody took their profits on Bitcoin and moved their money into altcoins, hoping that the same thing would happen, and it did for a month. Everybody moving from Bitcoin, and that's why Bitcoin dominance dropped, and why Bitcoin's price dropped, and also why altcoins price popped in January and February. Altcoins topped out. But they were already high. You were just seeing that last late stage buying parabolic push, which is the last stage of the market cycle, right? That's not, you are trying, I think the idea that the dominant squeeze when altcoins are so low, I mean, you're talking about something completely different, because you're talking about altcoins like going all the way from the bottom back up to like just maybe baseline, right? Any investor looking at altcoins is going to say, okay, well, when you're back above like a certain level, then maybe. Brief explanation of VWAP. It's the volume weighted average price. So it's the average price that everybody bought at divided by average volume. Birkin Tassi, thank you so much for the subscription on YouTube, my good friend. So in general, it's used as a level of support and resistance. It's one of the most important indicators for day trading, whether you go to equity, whether you go to Forex, whether you go to cryptocurrency. It's quite a useful level. And it's also a good measurement of if you're intraday trading, like did you pay Bitcoin at 6407 and pushing? Ethereum holding support at 174 and 170 after a brief dip to the lower 174 levels. Go, baby. Pump it. Can't go any lower, bro. So am I saying altcoins aren't going to bull this bull season? No, I'm not saying that. I don't try to predict the future. I'm just saying that it's a completely different market cycle to predict that we're going to get a dominant squeeze and then altcoins are just going to miraculously just shoot up like 3,000%. All right. So now, and start at our bearish breaker here. And by all rights, you could probably use this one. Well, we have a conservative entry and aggressive entry. That seems right to me. Let's watch those levels. That stretches from 61 to 68. I mean, I don't know. Do you guys think that Bitcoin dominance will recover its all-time highs? Keep in mind, if this chart recovers all-time highs, then altcoins are in the ground. Don't I see possible cash out at this point on Bitcoin and then transfer that money to altcoins? And for that reason, a dominant squeeze right now? It's pretty high at the moment. All in on Stellar. All right, let's see here. Robot detected. See what the won and the yen is doing. Yen's pushing. Yep, yen's pushing. Won's gonna follow the yen. Dollar will follow the won. Short's getting wrecked. Long is getting scared. Hey, no problem, Pablo. $401 on BitMEX. That's the level. If we close below, I don't really want to matter at this point. Here we are on Bitstamp, testing that upper boundary of resistance. Ripple dumping after an hourly doji. All right. Let's look forward to another 12 hours of sideways here. So in order to open Bitcoin trading on Fidelity, they would have to obtain a large reserve of Bitcoin in order to establish a liquid market, right? Yeah. All right, here we go, Bitcoin. It's the slow game for sure, man. Yeah. Thank you, Jurgen. Appreciate that, bro. Why do I have red, black, and white bars on my chart? So the red and black are candlesticks, and the red are signals from time transformation. They're raw reversal signals. Should have diversified, damn. I know ZERP Bitcoin looks like shite. Litecoin dropping too. Bitcoin actually might see a little bit of a move here. ZERP oozed. Check out ZERP oozed, man. Yeah, it looks like I definitely don't like that, man. I mean, the only play here is something like a double bottom, and you're trying to predict a higher low, a doji on a down movement. But the way that I look at this is, and again, you guys know how I feel about trend lines, but essentially, this is an open and close and rejection below our daily baseline. Our last little movement up, we came up to our daily 55. Consolidated, broke down. Now, if we form the lower high here, and we can get up and consolidate again, then I'll start to feel a little bit more confident that we are in accumulation period, and we can start looking for that breakout trade, whether that be a BPC or rounded retest or whatever. But no, not right now, man. It's not necessarily, and again, something that I want to point out too is that, you know, people are like, well, you know, why do you say? I don't say that buying low and selling high is stupid. It's just that just because it's low doesn't mean it's a good trade, right? So what is your time frame? If you want to buy ZERP and you're willing to sit on it for weeks, months, or longer, then that's totally fine. I tend to be an active trader, so I don't really want to sit here and ZERP and let it accumulate and move up and down and all that stuff that it's going to do. I'll wait until it confirms that it's in a strong bullish trend, and I'll enter. Right now, in any revisits to your daily baseline zone, you short. as you did here, as you did here, just as you did. And that was trending. So yeah, Aetherium basically kept you out of the market right there. You can see there's no strong trade right here. You can see how it's just sideways and chop. Aetherium is the one that tells you that. The one that keeps you out of the trades. Yeah, it doesn't work with XRP. Like, it works pretty well with me. Buy signal from time transformation. Daily baseline confirms. WADA does not. Because we're signaling a shift in trend, we have to wait till this candle. Time transformation buy signal. Daily baseline confirms. WADA Aetherium confirms. Long. Dun 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 dun. Take a little profit. Dun 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 dun. Take a little profit. Dun 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 dun. Exit your position. Dun 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 dun. Maybe buy. Rejection from the baseline. That's a scalp. Because we're below the daily baseline, we get a sell signal on time transformation right here. WADA Aetherium confirms. Short. Exit. Re-entry signal. Short. Exit. No long. No long. No long. No long. Too late. Filters have passed us. Short signal. Everything confirms. Probably a loss. That's a loss. Short signal. Exit. Re-entry. Take profit. Long. Oh, no, not on this candle. On this candle. Confirmation. Enter on the close of this daily candle. Exit. No trade. WADA Aetherium keeps us out of this consolidation range. Short. Take profit. Short. Take profit. WADA keeps us out. This might have been an entry right here. This is an entry. That's a long. And a loss. Long and a loss. No, no, no. Nope. Filter kits it out. No, 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 no. Short. Take profit. I mean, just saying. TA seems to work just fine on ZERP. I have back-tested my strategy on just about every coin you could possibly think of under multiple settings. And keep in mind, you guys don't see everything. There's about 3 components of this I don't show publicly. Excalibur says sold at 3, re-entered at 50 fucking cents, man. God damn, bro. Sorry to hear that, man. All right, guys, it's 2:03. I got a lot of shit I got to do. Kazoo. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching the show today. You guys have been absolutely fantastic. Of course, my name is Justin Wise. I am the lead analyst and senior mentor at CrackingCryptocurrency.com. Oh, I want to make an announcement, guys. Sorry, there's some stuff I didn't go over. There is stuff I didn't go over. Make sure that you guys head on over to CrackingCryptocurrency.com/blog. Check out some of the fantastic new articles that we have up there. If you guys want to put your finger on the pulse of what's going on in the market and you guys want some unique insight into what's going on, I highly recommend that you go check out our articles. We're putting new ones out every single day. A little bit of nuance from the team and from our author, Joe. He's doing a fantastic job. Let's see here. Also want to give a shout out to DaVinci, right? So you guys know, if you guys have been in the general Discord, obviously you guys have been familiar with DaVinci's channel, where he's been posting his trade setups and chart patterns and trades that he takes. He is a fantastic analyst, and we've gone ahead and he's now with the team. Cracking Cryptocurrency. So we moved him into the premium section so all premium subscribers can get access to his trade setups, his mentoring, his education. He's doing a fantastic job. Excited to work with him. So if you guys want to receive, obviously updates and everything from him, you guys know what to do. So blog and DaVinci, everything's looking fantastic. Let's head back over here to the screen. All right. So thank you guys so much for joining me. You guys have been fantastic. I hope you go on and have an absolutely wonderful, safe day. Make sure that you trade safely. Don't take any excessive risks. Make sure that you're preserving capital and managing your risk. First and foremost, entries and exits are, as always, secondary. If you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, sarcastic remarks, and or death threats, please leave them in the section down below. Moon Howlings, thank you so much for the follow on Twitch. If you guys have not already, if you're new to the channel, if you like the content, if you'd like to see us, we are here every day from noon to 2 CDT, Monday through Friday, 5 to 7 p.m. CDT. Make sure to hit the subscription button and the thumbs up. We highly appreciate that. Also, the bell will make sure you never miss an episode. If you're following us on Twitch, of course, hit that follow button and the subscribe button if you would like to support us a little bit more. Sean J, thank you so much for the subscription on YouTube as well, my good friend. Sorry that I missed that. All right. If you guys would like to get access to our indicators, our setups, our mentoring, our educational material, our premium videos, and our private Discord community, of course, you can check the link up at the top of the screen where we are birthing the new generation of professional cryptocurrency traders, premium.krakencryptocurrency.com. Look forward to seeing you in there. All right, guys. That's all I got. Till tomorrow. Trade safely, and I'll catch you in the next one.